Yeah, I'll just say like, God created you, so God loves you. People don't create things, even on this earth, that they don't love, that and this huge investment that He's put in you. It's just will serve you so well to understand why God put that investment in you. You don't believe in it, just just come and see. Come and seek that out. I guarantee you won't regret it.
Hey, winners, have you got a business or brand that deserves to shine? I'm just saying this right now because I'm giving the opportunity for you to advertise on Winner Circle with Jay and connect with thousands of ambitious entrepreneurs and leaders who are about growth. It's all about growth. So, whether you are advertising a product or a service, secure your slot as low as $100. So, what are you waiting for? Email us at advert@winnercirclewithj.com. Here at Winner Circle with Jay, we just don't talk success, we create success. All right, see you soon. All right, guys, welcome back to the Winner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Jay Adewole, and I'm thrilled to have you all join us for a profound and highly relevant conversation. And the conversation for today is going to be from chaos to clarity, building discipline and purpose with ADHD. Joining us today, we have Ronald Raymond Souers,
Yes.
a seasoned entrepreneur and a wealth strategist known for his deep expertise in helping individuals and businesses create lasting financial impact. He has years of experience guiding clients through wealth building, asset protection, and purposeful investing. He combines strategic insight with a passion for empowering others to achieve financial freedom. And if you ask me his mission is centered on transforming how people think about money, shifting the focus from short-term gains to long-term legacy. However, in today's conversation, Ronald will share a deeply personal perspective that is discussing how he has channeled the unique challenges and the gift of ADHD into the structure and focus required for high-level success. And in this episode, he would also share the practical, disciplined strategies used to manage distraction. The mindset shifts required to turn chaos into clarity, and how to define a driving purpose that provides the necessary anchor for sustained achievement, especially when dealing with neurodiversity. I'm sure you would have seen that probably on TikTok. People are talking about it lately. So join us as we explore how discipline, purpose, and strategic planning intersect to create massive success, regardless of the internal hurdles you face. So let's dive in. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? I'm just excited for the show,
Yeah, I'm doing great. That was a massive introduction you gave me. I don't know if I could live up to that.
That's what you got. That's your
Yeah.
profile. So if you look at it, let's even look at what you do yourself. So what initially drew you into wealth strategy, and when did you see its deeper significance beyond just money?
Yeah, like building a legacy is something that we all want to do. And, it can be difficult, especially when you have ADHD, because the world is telling you can't do this and you can't do that, but like understanding like who I am on a core level is super important. Because like I believe God doesn't make mistakes, and he loves each and every one of us. So it's like if he created you for love, but we've got to understand how to seek him out to understand like that deeper purpose in life. And when that happens, the magic really does happen.
Does happen. That's a great word. So, but if you look at it, why is focus on legacy more important than short-term wealth building for you? If you look at it,
Yeah, because like, short term, you can get caught up in all the little things that are going on, all the little things that aren't, going your way. Like if you have a plan for anything, it's not going to go accordingly. It's going to have twists. Things show up, things happen. But if you understand what your long-term goals are and you keep your eye and you're focused on that, that helps you to like navigate those like challenges much easier because you understand what your true purpose is. It's not changing or shifting from day to day from one thing to the next. And especially with people with ADHD, that focus can be incredibly difficult. But when you understand like how to over time, focus can cut through steel. Like when you focus light, like it can literally, but if you have light scattered, it just lights up the room. It doesn't do any type of effect. So that's why it's so important to have like when your brain is focused on like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this like no matter what and like this is going to happen, like your brain shifts into this whole mindset of like, well, I instead of being like, well, I can't do this or I'm not good enough, your brain's going to come up with the answer to the quality of the question that you ask it.
All right, thank you for sharing that. So now, if you look at this topic for today, we are looking at from chaos to clarity with
Yeah.
ADHD. So for you, when did you recognize your neurodiversity was an asset, not just a challenge, especially in business?
Yeah, I mean, that took a long time. It took a while to, really just accept it, and roll with it. Like, I couldn't have done that by myself. Like, it definitely took, having a deeper relationship with God and like understanding like, that I my purpose in this life is bigger, than anything I could ever plan for it. Each and every one of our purposes, on this, like he created us specifically for some role that we're supposed to play in the bigger dynamic. And if we don't play that role, then so many people like are missing out on that help. Like other people help me just like I help other people. We're not supposed to be self-sufficient. God doesn't want that. God wants us to be able to love each other and support each other and go after each other, and make sure that we're all doing the best that we can.
Doing the best that we can. God is powerful. He
Yeah.
does things in his own time and his own ways, and which is great to know. So now I've had friends who have ADHD, and they talk about I have ADHD. That's why I'm like this. I have ADHD. That's why my room is chaotic. Everything is scattered and all that. So for those feeling chaotic now, what is the single first step they can take to organize their mind for business success?
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing is practicing mindfulness. As simple and as easy as that sounds, it's really not. It's like I equate it to working out your brain. Especially with that chaos that's going on, what it really is all these thoughts just controlling all these narratives just running through your mind and just controlling you. But when you're able to sit there and meditate, especially if you can meditate on the word of God, which is basically like being mindful, and meditation is just, like if you can worry, you can meditate, like because you're just focusing on all the negative and seeing like how this can turn into that, or like how this can get screwed up, but when you shift that focus to like something good, because that's how your mind works, is like you're not going to think your way out of a struggle. You can shift your focus into something better, and that's going to be much easier, much more powerful than trying to like, oh well, I don't want to think negative thoughts, or I don't want to think that this isn't going to work, or like how could that popped in my head. No, just shift it to something better. Shift it to like asking those better questions, like what makes me happy, and why does that make me happy. A lot of people don't think about that. Like they just do the happy, but they don't think about like why this makes me happy. For me, like now it's like what makes me happy is being closer to my God, to our God. So it's like understanding his love and getting closer, because like I feel comforted and supported. So when I shift my focus back to that, or like a verse in the Bible, like it's powerful.
So let's go a little bit about looking at your background itself, in the entrepreneurship world. Because most of our listeners are entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders. And I know that discipline itself is tough with ADHD.
Yeah.
So how would you say, or how does a neurodivergent person design financial structure that enforce discipline automatically?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's like I don't have every single key to it, but there's all types of biblical principles on how to manage your money. It's like the first thing you need to do is tithe, and that shows faith. It's like God gave for me. I don't own any of the money. I don't own any of these things. Like it's on loan from God. I'm just here to take care of it and use it for how He wants me to use it. So if I can't tithe and I can't hold on to that money, and that can be difficult for a lot of people because they may be overspending on a credit card and they need to pay that back. If you like, I've applied this in my life and my finances have turned around. My finances have immediately turned around just from that one step. But it's also learning how to save and set aside money and pay bills and like put money towards like investments, like your business. Like you set aside a certain amount of money and you don't overspend or underspend that money. And then once you do those things, God will bless you because it's even in the Bible. It says like those that can't handle little don't show like they're able to handle much. And that's definitely a paraphrase, but like it's basically saying like if you can't handle the little bit that God's giving you right now, like you're not going to be able to handle more. And why should he trust you more? Because there's greater wealth than on this earth in heaven.
What are the key legal or structural steps an entrepreneur must take to protect their assets from business risk? Let's even look at wealth strategy right now.
Yeah, it's definitely in what you invest in. Like, and the more
Mm,
that you can invest, the more that your money works for you. So it's like
mm,
investing in things like the S&P 500, and
mm.
putting aside a certain amount of money, that you won't touch. And that just goes into that because at a certain point, it's going to become like enough so that you don't have to work anymore. So you invest like 10% to 20% in the S&P over 10 like a 5-10 year period. Like that money will continue to grow instead of putting it in a savings account or even worse, putting on a credit card. Like there's certain things that you do need to buy a credit card with, but like you need to understand like that money's working against you. Like when you invest that
Mm.
money, you're literally having it work for you
For-
in the same way
yes.
the credit card companies are taking it away from you.
So that means each time you use a credit card, you're getting negative. But if you invest, you're getting positive.
Yeah.
Mm,
And you invest in the right funds, over time.
the right funds. So now, if you look at this, I know you coach clients especially when it comes to financial information. So for you, how do you coach clients to identify their unique financial purpose?
No, yeah, that's interesting. I definitely look at what, and it goes back to their goals, to their purpose and finding their purpose. Like each person's purpose is different because God doesn't make copies, so we've got to figure out what their shape is and that can take time. Like depending on what you like, and it's usually comes from a place of like what are you good at, what are you naturally passionate about, that like for me, I'm naturally passionate about helping people. I'm naturally passionate about ADHD and getting, and advocating for people and just like doing the right thing no matter like what the consequences are, because I know that this can't this can't continue to happen that way because it's going on too long. The biggest thing for me is like staying silent. That apathy is one of the worst things you can do, especially when you see injustices. And that's why it continues to happen because people don't think that they can stand up or they just are too afraid to do anything about it. When it's really not, change can happen so rapidly if we just open our mouth and communicate it like that we're not going to take this and this isn't right.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about time management because it's very crucial, and time is everything. All
Yeah.
right. So for now, if you look at it, what is one specific routine, or let me just say discipline, that you practice daily that is directly tied to your financial success?
Yeah, it's just, looking at my priorities, and understanding my priorities like on a daily basis. Like, what is this that I need to do? Like, if it's important, then that's great. Like, I can put that for later, but if it needs to be done now, if this is helping me get towards my goal, that's what I ask is like, is this helping me get towards my goal right here? Or can I put that off and I need to do something different? Because sometimes priorities just switch in the middle of just like that. And I need to be able to be flexible. I would say like flexibility and understanding your goals are so key to that.
And for us not to just be overly strict, we know that I know that at some point, there are inevitable days when the structure or probably your routine completely break down. What do you do on those days?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. That flexibility is like understanding, I do have a routine that's always in the morning and, where I get up. The first thing, I go outside, I do my breathing, and then I do my gratitude, and then I thank God for the future things that are going to happen because that sets up my whole day. Like people don't understand, like, and I didn't before this, the power that gratitude has, and it's actually all throughout the Bible. Just be grateful in everything. It doesn't mean be grateful for everything, but like be grateful. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm grateful for the tests. Like I'm grateful for those things that cause me to be like less self-centered, challenge my attitude and challenge my ego and challenge that ignorance and help me to be able to serve people better because the more that I think about myself, the less I'm helping other people to a degree. So it's like the test. And then, I can be happy for those tests because I understand like God cares more about our character than our actual comfort. Because that's the only thing we're going to be able to take with us to heaven. We can't take anything else.
God search your heart. It's
Yeah.
very, very important. Yeah, it's very, very important. So now, when we talk about legacy and impact, remind me of a song, that talks about I don't want to leave a legacy. The only legacy I want to leave is, Jesus. That's what,
Yeah.
it's called the Valor Girls.
Yeah.
They
Yeah. I
had a
like that
song, very
song.
nice songs. All right. So let's talk about a little bit of a legacy and impact. If you look at entrepreneurs, how does an entrepreneur define the lasting impact they want to have? And also, how does that affect their present business decisions?
You know, I mean, it's all depends on that person and what they're good at, what they're naturally good at. And it all goes back to like God created me for a reason. Well, I've got to figure out what that reason is, and it's not like God doesn't just show up and see like, yeah, here's it is. You've got to kind of like earn that and show that you're ready for that reason because, I'll be honest, like where I'm at on my stage, I wasn't ready for like 3 months ago or 6 months ago. And God understood that. That's why he takes his time because like if he gave us everything, we wouldn't be able to handle it. So he's testing us along the way. And a lot of times like we don't really see the test, we're just so caught up in everything that's going on. So like in order to build that legacy, it's all about helping other people. How can I use
Mhm.
my gifts to help other people? Because you look at anybody in the world that like had a huge impact, like it's either a very negative impact or a hugely positive impact like Mother Teresa or Martin Luther King and then Hitler on the other side, but you always gravitate towards like how did Mother Teresa just be able to do that, and she said one thing that was powerful. It was like the biggest source of poverty isn't natural material poverty, it's spiritual poverty.
Spiritual poverty.
Yeah.
That's the highest stuff, the poverty itself. Because once you're dead spiritually, you're dead in the physical. You can still function, but you're really dead. So
Yeah, because
for
it's
you
all
now,
about that fulfillment. Because there's
hmm,
so many billionaires that don't like are living in that spiritual poverty. They're not fulfilled, they're not happy, or they're tight with money even though they got billions of dollars. Success is only an achievement is only part of the equation. If you
Yeah,
can't enjoy the process, if you can't enjoy like life, no amount of money is going to ever like make you happy for very long.
for very long. So for you now, what is the difference between achieving success and also building a true legacy? What would you say is the difference?
Yeah, I would say like the big differences between success and a good legacy is how many people have you helped? How many people have I helped? How many people have I helped bring to God? Through what I've done, and understand the love that I've gotten, that I've been given, and not been selfish with that because I feel like it's it's criminal. It's like understanding the cure to cancer or knowing it and not telling anybody about it. I've learned a lot of that from, like, Pastor Rick Warren and his purpose-driven life, so I definitely would recommend anybody reading that if you want to understand what your purpose is and, like, how to get closer to God and why you're here, because when you don't understand those things, and I know I lived that way, like, you go on from one thing to one frustration to the next. Like, those problems don't, like, disappear. Those problems are here because, like, there is so much going on in the world and that need our help, that Jesus literally commissioned us to do is, like, save, feed the poor, free the prisoners, free the oppressed, teach the illiterate. These problems are so big throughout the world. It's like if we get together through the churches, through Christians and like understanding that that's our real purpose, like we can make a massive change that is so much more than what governments can do.
Hey, winners, as we continue our journey together today, I want to share something truly special with you. Over the years, I've had the privilege of coaching countless business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, guiding them to achieve breakthrough results and unlocking their full potential. So I'm opening up just 4 slots for my monthly business coaching program. That's right, 4 slots. After being fully booked for the past 3 years, if you're ready to elevate your business with personalized guidance, proven strategy, and a supportive community, I'm here to help you navigate challenges, refine your vision, and achieve your goals. So if you're committed to taking your business to the next level, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me directly at jay at winnercirclewithj.com and discuss how we can work together to build the future your business deserves. So don't wait. This is your moment. Join Winner Circle and let's embark on this transformative journey towards success together. And now let's dive back into today's episode. That's
Because if they could
powerful.
fix it, they would have already done it.
Of course, of course. The book Purpose Driven Life is a very good book, and I think I've grabbed that book before. And I also have my book coming up January 14, 2026.
Oh, nice.
It's called Purpose Driven Disruption.
Wow.
My journey as a coach and a consultant, I share a lot of experience. And, it's a book to grab for all entrepreneurs. You need to grab that book. So now for
Nice.
those who feel like they are constantly chasing success, but for those who feel like they are constantly chasing success without satisfaction, because you still see billionaires still working, trying to get more success, get more money, trying to get more. It's just like Oliver Twist. All right. How do you help them redefine their metrics for a fulfilling life than just chasing success?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the same thing. It's like, continuing to explore that and like what really makes you have fun. Like, and a lot of it is probably they're not spending a lot of time with the people in their life. Like I used to be, very, very much an introvert. I still am an introvert, but I didn't see the value in a lot of other people. and I would say it with my mouth like, yeah, I enjoy you. Like, I wouldn't be anything without you guys, but in my mind, I'll be like, how can I get away and be by myself? Now I want people in my life. I enjoy, those interactions. Yeah, like I do still have a limit to it when I'm giving, but like I'm able to see things, see the potential in other people. I believe the way that God sees the potential in each and every one of us. And like that understanding only comes through prayer and time and focus. Like happiness and fulfillment isn't something that comes overnight. It's not something you can buy. It's not something like you can be given. You have to earn it. You have to seek it, and that comes through struggles. Like, I believe a lot of people don't want to go deep into their relate because they fear the conflict. But honestly, the conflict is what makes relationships stronger and more deeply intimate because you work through that. It's like bonding on a deeper level. So it's like understanding like who's in your life that you need to connect with on a deeper level to understand who they are. That's why I've always valued that, but the more that I've like understood like what Christ came on this earth for, he helped like he was there for the poor. He went for those people. Like you see guys like the two blind men like yelled at Jesus while he was walking to Galilee or something like that. And like it was like he stopped. He wasn't like, I gotta go to Galilee. What are you guys talking? No, he stopped and listened. He said, what do you guys need? And that's how, we need to be as a people, especially if you want to call yourself a Christian, because like Christian means Christ like. And if you're not being Christ like, you're being something else, and there's no such thing as like somewhat good or, that's why Christ needed to come because will never be that perfect sinless creature. We're always going to need to come back and, be humble, and we're always going to need each other, so like when I understood that, like I value my time is my most important commodity. So when I get like, when I'm spending time talking to somebody, that's I'm spending my time. So that, and when I do that with my full attention, or at least to the best of my ability. Since I do have ADHD, I'm still working on that. But like when I talk to God about with the other people, those are some of the most amazing conversations. Even if it's with somebody who doesn't believe, I feel like those are like the conversations I really enjoy because I want to see where they're coming from and see if I can like show them like, hey, this worked for me. Maybe check it out.
That's a powerful word, and I really appreciate you sharing those powerful information. So, if you
Yeah.
could give our listeners struggling with financial focus one immediate action, what would it be?
I would say, there's a great resource from Rick Warren that talks about like, I believe it's the 8 ways to financial freedom, and one of the first things you can do is tithe, go to church, put that money and do it with joy. Like I know it'll be hard in the beginning, but like understand
Yeah.
like God doesn't want like he doesn't want a tip. He doesn't care. He doesn't need your money. It's an act of good faith. Cause like for me, like you're talking about the God of the riches of all the heavens. Like it doesn't matter what debt you have. Like he
Hmm.
can cover it. Like he literally like and this is crazy. Like he wiped out these student loans that I paid like I had $65,000 on it. And I
Hmm.
only paid 1,000 into it. Like I don't know what happened, but that's done and they owe me $5,000. That's God. Like God
Wow.
wiped that out. So like I know, and that's just a small miracle, for me, because like money is important, but it should be only used as a tool. It should not come in the way of like God tests you and he says like, okay, you need to give away this money. Are you going to be able to do that? Are you going to hold on to that? Or are you going to put me first? So if you can do that,
Hmm.
that will bless you so much financially.
So, for you now, what is the single most important skill a young entrepreneur with ADHD needs to master today?
I would say like focus and honestly, for me, it's like put God first. Like do your best to put God first and understand God doesn't make mistake. If you want to look at somebody in the Bible that has ADHD, it's Peter. Like, look at Peter. He was walking on the water. He's so impulsive. He like went up and cut this priest ears off, one of his ear off when they came to arrest Jesus. He was walking on water and then all of a sudden he's sinking. He's all over the place where he's like saying, I won't deny you, Lord, but then he denies him 3 times. So it's like that's
Hmm.
ADHD right there. And look, he became the rock of the church, because Jesus affirmed him and understood him and like worked with him and encouraged him.
Okay.
It's those affirmations that you're only going to get from that understanding of like putting God first in your life. And it doesn't always, it's no one does it perfect. No one's a saint. Like even
Always
saints,
put God first.
yeah, basically that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. So let's go on a quick break. I'll be right back. And Ronald, with his framework, gave us an easy explanation. Talk about Peter. He said Peter is the rock of the church of Christ. But at some point, he was in a chaotic mindset or mind level. And within a while, you know, trying to, him understanding the fact that you cannot do this alone except you align with purpose with God. And he became the rock of the church. His mind was straight. So for many listening to this conversation, I also know building financial discipline and sustaining focus can feel overwhelming, especially when the demands of a high-stake business collide with challenges of distraction. I know. So for Ronald, for those who are ready to move from financial and operational chaos to intentionally or intentional clarity, what's one practical step they can take today to start designing the structure that will lead to a long-term discipline?
Yeah. You know, honestly, getting like a coach or at least starting a routine, because nobody does anything without a coach. Nobody does anything without an example, a mentor, and having people in their lives, because we need somebody that holds us accountable. We need somebody who's going to be able to encourage us, because especially with ADHD, like we're so used to the world beating us down, and like we start to tell ourselves those same things because that's so familiar. That's the pain that we're familiar with, and it's so hard to break away from that by yourself, if not impossible. So getting like a good coach, a good role model of like who you want to be like, or at least, like seek out somebody that you seen in history. Like it could be Martin Luther King or Benjamin Franklin. Those are two great guys that like did so much with what they had especially I personally like Benjamin Franklin because he did most of his stuff after the age of 44. He invented electricity, that was the postal service. Like it's incredible that this,
It's
yeah, like
incredible.
yeah, so it's never too late. And I feel like most people with like for me, like I didn't start till I was like 42, 43, really starting to develop, that mindset of like, look, I'm tired of, this 9 to 5 and this corporate life and,
Freedom.
like that they don't appreciate what I have to offer, which was at the detriment of a lot of businesses, but I didn't know any better. So like where I broke away from that and started to learn more about who I was, and that led me to understand God had a purpose in my life. And honestly, like I've lived without like I believed in God, but I didn't believe in Jesus. And those two people right there is night and day. Like who I can't ever go back to that life because it's just no, it's not worth it. It's the love that I feel no matter what storms I'm going through. There's comfort there. There's a comfort like I've never known, and that's all I want is that more and more people understand that and feel that.
Thank you so much. That's so powerful. And we really appreciate your time. Where can our
Yeah.
audience find your work and connect with your mission?
Yeah, you can definitely find me on my podcast. Don't mind me. I have ADHD. I just have ADHD. That's on Apple, Spotify. And I'm also offering your guest a free complimentary video called Mastering the Moment. And you can find that at youradhdguy.com. That one helps you to be more pro-social, to be able to engage in conversations with people that you just met, which is such a powerful, essential tool if you want to grow.
What's the final strong message you want to leave with our listeners about leveraging their unique neurodiversity?
Yeah, I would just say, like, God created you, so God loves you. People don't create things, even on this earth, that they don't love, that and this huge investment that He's put in you. It's just will serve you so well to understand why God put that investment in you. You don't believe in it, just come and see. Come and seek that out. I guarantee you won't regret it.
All right. Thank you so much. So, and that brings us to the end of another insightful episode of the Winner Circle podcast. I want to say a huge thank you to Ronald Raymond Souers for joining us today and sharing his powerful strategies on moving from chaos to clarity. That means building discipline and purpose with ADHD. I want to say, if today's conversation inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the Winner Circle podcast on your favorite platform, because your support helps us continue bringing inspiring leaders and practical strategies to listeners around the world. So connect with us on social media and share your favorite takeaways or questions from this episode. We love hearing from you, how this discussion help you take meaningful steps to elevate your focus, financial clarity, and entrepreneurial discipline. I want to say thank you for tuning in to the Winner Circle podcast today. Just like Muna said, he said he has a free gift for you. Just get the link below and you get the information. So remember, purpose, structure, and intentionality are the keys turning chaos into lasting legacy. So until next time, I'm Jay Adewole, encouraging to embrace your unique genius, build wisely, and create a disciplined path to success. All right, thank you. See you guys.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you having